Hello, beautiful strangers, and welcome to the first episode of Crimson Gray, a short, sweet little visual novel that I quite enjoy. It is, if I'm remembering correctly, I'm going to say it's going to be somewhere in the 3 to 5 hour range. It's really not very long, but it is quite enjoyable. I enjoyed what I've played of it. I have seen... I think the visual novel has 7 regular endings, as well as a few bad endings. I have seen all 7 of the regular endings and 1 or 2 of the bad endings, but I can't remember for sure. And I've quite enjoyed everything that I've seen. My intention for this series is to go through each of the 7 endings, normal, but each of the 7 endings. And I think whenever I finish, I'm not going to promise that, but I think I'm going to try to do an extra little bonus episode where I just kind of fuck around and try to get bad endings and do all of the bad things that I can think of to see what happens. I can't promise that, but it sounds fun. But anyway, this visual novel was developed by Sierra Lee, who is... done quite a few things. There's a sequel to this, The Last Sovereign, I believe. I'm blanking on the names of other stuff. I apologize. And I enjoyed this visual novel thoroughly. This is the only thing I've read that she has written. I believe Sierra Lee is she. Anyway, and it's really good. I quite enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you all. This is the itch.io version of the game. I do not have the 18 plus patch, as I believe the only thing is H scenes, and I don't want to take the chance of uploading those to YouTube. So that is aware. I believe that is the only thing that the 18 plus patch adds, I believe. This is also available on Steam. I think, if I recall correctly, you can also support Sierra Lee on Patreon, and if you send her a message, she'll give you a copy of the game. Could be mistaken, but I think I've read that before. But anyway, without any further stalling, let's get started, shall we? This is a clean install, by the way. John had always thought himself as a stable person. Stability worked out well when he was just trying not to let the little things get him down. It wasn't so great when everything was crumbling around him. When the entire world started seeming gray and flat, then he began wondering if all that stability would kill him, and if he would care when it did. There weren't any highs or lows anymore. Whatever happened to him, John didn't feel happy or sad. He just... Hey, what are you doing spacing out, man? You're a real headache these days, John. You're gonna float away on us? Sorry, just distracted. A moment later, he started drifting away again. Even his friends' voices were nothing but buzzing in his ears, meaningless sounds echoing in his hollow shell. They weren't even really his friends. They were friends with the happy-go-lucky person he'd been at the beginning of high school. These days, they joked about him being no fun, but it was more than a joke. They'd get tired of him, find someone else, and then he'd be alone. He wasn't sure whether or not that would be worse. Whoa, is that creepy chick staring at us? I think she is. Who is that anyway? Lizzie Doss, I think. And are you, right? John, doesn't she have math with you or something? It took John a second to even register the question. They were staring at some girl who was staring back at them. I'm going to give a little bit of credit. I'm going to give credit to the artist for this visual novel and your character designer, whatever. I think Lizzie's design is fantastic. And the reason I say that is because, in my opinion, anyway, when you look at her and you look at your standard, visual novel heroine, anime heroine, manga heroine, whatever, they're usually not very realistically proportioned, in my opinion. Lizzie is probably one of the more legitimately proportioned people that I've seen in, a visual novel or manga or anime or whatever. It feels like, to me anyway, that I could see somebody that looks like this. This, to me, is very realistic, especially when you compare it to other things. So I think that the character designer should get a ton of credit for that, and not just going for the stock, generic anime girl sort of look. And I like to give credit when I can and where I can and whatnot. But so genuinely, I think it is a fantastic character design, and I think the people or whoever person, I don't think it was Sarah Lee. I don't think she did the art, but I could be wrong. I don't remember the credits. But whoever did the character designs did a fantastic job. Just my personal opinion, anyway. She looked the same as all the other girls at our school. Shyer, maybe. She could probably hear them talking about her. He wanted to say something, but kept silent. Damn, she really is staring. She's staring at us or John? I think it's him. You think she's a stalker? Yeah, those are some creepy eyes. You better watch out, John. Yeah, you're a real sad sack these days, but you can do better than her. Shut up. The words were past his lips before he could stop them. Why did he have to open his mouth now, of all times? But he couldn't let them keep talking about her like this. People called him creepy or crazy all the time, and he hated it. But after those 2 words, he just stood there like an idiot. Even when something mattered to him, he couldn't pull himself together. What's wrong with you, man? Don't say things like that about people you don't know. It's just hanging out up here like us. No, she's got some serious crazy eyes. Just leave her alone, okay? She hasn't done anything to you. Sheesh. Okay, man. You think she's gonna fall in love with you as her handsome protector or something? That'd be just like John. You want to talk to the crazy girl, be our guest. We're heading back to class. Don't wait up, man. What'd you knock over? Kitten John? Oh, here. Okay. Hold on just a moment. Sorry about that. Sorry. Kitten was interested in Charger. The way her eyes moved, John thought that she was focused on him so intensely that she might not even heard what the others said. Did it even bother her? He wished he could be like that. Instead, the smallest things sending him crashing into a state of worthlessness. But maybe she was like him, just capable of hiding it. John cleared his throat and walked up to check on her. Hey, sorry about them. They can be assholes sometimes. Well, I guess I don't have a lot to say. Sorry if we bothered you. John slunk away and cursed his own idiocy. She had been fine without him. He had just made everything worse. There had always been something hard in her eyes, a strength he didn't have. He had probably been projecting all his weakness onto her in the first place. She wasn't like him, wasn't broken. She could shrug off the things his friends had said and get on with her life. At least that meant she could shrug off his annoyance too. She'd probably just forget all about him. Thank you. You're such a kind person. The kindest, the only person. Found you, I finally found you, I found you, I found you, found you. And title screen. Is it? The teacher's voice was incomprehensible, but John knew he must be picking it up on some level. He wasn't sure how, but even though he stumbled through every day, he was doing okay in school. He could seem normal whenever he wanted to. It just didn't feel worth it. That was almost the worst part. He seemed normal even though nothing was normal anymore. It wouldn't ever be normal again. What did Miss Smith say? High-functioning depression? It's an awful, empty phrase. Excuse me. At least class was over now. He could go home, sleepwalk through his assignment, and then fall unconscious. At least in a few hours he could... Then he became aware of her. She was watching him. Maybe she wanted to thank him? No, he was being stupid. He'd never done anything worth thanking. More than likely, she wanted something from him. Or, most likely of all, maybe she didn't care about him and he was just imagining the whole thing. Still, she was still staring, though. Oh, looky. Our first choice, and I forgot to have... Oh, no, I did. I prepared beforehand. I will take a drink, though, because I am a bit thirsty. Branched out on a type of drink to get a different kind of drink, and it's not very good. Which sucks, because I actually got a collection of stuff to last for like the next month or so, and this one isn't very good. I got a few different things. Some I've had, some I haven't, but yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. This one's just not very good. I can see why people would like it, I just personally don't. But enough of my rambling on and on. First, we need to do... Well, we need to smile at her. Hi, Morgana. Something distracting you? Yeah. Her expression was impossible to read. Was she shy? Was she embarrassed for him? Either way, he doubted it mattered. Oops. He needed to get to his appointment anyway. He didn't want Miss Smith getting mad at him again. Miss Smith was one of the only people John could focus on. He wasn't sure how much good she actually did aside from prescribing medicine, but at least he tried to help. A quick aside, I've never actually seen Smith spelled that way outside of this visual novel. Actually, when I first read this, I kind of fucked around. It's like, I knew it was Smith. I mean, it kind of... I have to. It's spelled like Scythe, more or less, and I just kind of called her Miss Smythe for whenever I first read it, because I thought that was funny, because I'm an idiot. But anyway, I've just never seen that before. An interesting spelling. John, you're not looking so bad today. Did something good happen? A boy your age ought to be more interested in girls. Are you dating someone? No, I can't focus on people. Maybe I could prescribe you something for that. We don't have any on hand now, but I could get it quickly. It's the advantage of having Koitek in town. I don't want to take this medicine anymore. I don't think it's working. The Paxitine? But that's the first one you really responded to. I feel worse. Everything is so gray. Voices just echo. Can't I go back to the generic medicine? John, you need to understand that you are deeply clinically depressed. It's my professional opinion that you should under no conditions go off your medication. When you're getting used to the medication, there could be some initial side effects. Sometimes things have to get worse before they get better, okay? Okay. All he heard was that he was too broken for any drug to fix. He was so worthless that even the newest drugs from Koitek didn't do anything. I'll renew your Paxitine prescription and see about getting you a complimentary drug. We'll figure this out yet, John. Complimentary drug? What? That's not disconcerting to me in any way. Now, why don't you lie down over there and we can begin our session. Good. Get comfortable. Did anything special happen during the day today? No, it was a normal day. The therapy session quickly fell away into a meaningless buzz. For a short time, he didn't feel the emptiness. Finally, or too soon, it was over. Miss Smith told him he was doing well and sent him on his way. John slumped back home. The house was empty, like it always was. Ever since his mother left, his father spent all his time working. He did his homework, he ate, he cleaned the dishes, he sat down in front of the TV and stared at it without turning it on. It's windy as hell outside, holy shit. Somehow, he dragged himself into bed and fell asleep. The routine used to be comforting, but now it started to erode his sanity. His mind had to crack eventually. Maybe it was already happening. For a second, he thought he saw a girl out of the window. But no, there was nothing. Of course, there wasn't. He really was losing it. Another day. He had to face it somehow. It seemed impossible until he finally stumbled into class. School was the usual mindless buzz. There was a job announced in the third period as if that meant anything at all, or job fairs. Almost everyone in the school would either go to work for Koitek, move away, or stay in town and become unemployed. John wondered which one of these things would happen to him, but from a distance, as if he was thinking about some person he barely knew. Another aside, I think the world building in this visual novel is actually really interesting. I would actually put it like, I would like to see something set in this setting, something more of a less romance and more of a, I don't know, something that has a lot of world building. Maybe not an action something, but maybe a mystery or espionage sort of thing. I think the setting is really, really interesting. I really, really do. Anyway, his grades were good enough to get into Koitek, but the process was so competitive. No, he didn't have the energy for that. He couldn't imagine moving away, looking for a job in a strange city. Most mornings, the most he could do, or most he could imagine, was surviving the day. But his father wouldn't support him, and his mother didn't want him. Once he graduated, there would be no way he could stay with either of them. What would happen to him then? Would he just become homeless, sit there on the street begging for change until one night he froze to death? Maybe that was all he deserved. John, are you all right? Sorry, sir. I'm paying attention, honestly. I didn't ask that. I asked if you were all right. I'm fine. Well, be sure to talk to the counselor if you're feeling bad, all right? We're lucky to have someone like Miss Smith with us. He had to keep it together. He remembered the lessons. But if people were starting to think something was wrong, his control was slipping. He had enough time to visit his locker in between periods. There was more Paxitine there. He still had an extra dose left for the day. Enjoying your box? Good. His locker was on the bottom row, so he always had to bend down, and there was a piece of paper sitting in the middle of his locker. I don't actually know anybody that used a locker in high school, but we did in middle school. I don't know anybody that ever bent down to get to a bottom row locker. They kneeled or squatted or did a squat or sat on the floor in some cases maybe. I was lucky and had a top row locker each year, which is good because I had been on the tall side. Although I wasn't when I started middle school, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway. Cheer up. That was all it said. Nothing on the back side. No other clues. Probably a girl's handwriting. Who left it? Hey, did you see anyone messing with my locker? Huh? Did something get stolen? There's way too many guys around here for me to notice. It might have been a girl leaving a note. Like a love note? You dreaming, John. You think any girl's gonna love your sorry ass? No. Of course, no one could love him. So you didn't see anyone? Okay, thanks. Hey, John, you gonna tell me she's Canadian? Heading back to class. See you later. And she's really hot, right? Your imaginary girlfriend sounds amazing. John knew he should probably just take some more Paxitine and head back to class. Yet, He was still holding onto the paper. He wasn't sure why. It really could be a prank, one of the guys trying to trick him. If so, it probably would be followed by another fake note, asking him to come out under that stupid confession tree where they let him wait and then laugh at him. But for a moment, he saw a girl watching him. Could it have been her? By the time he got to class, John had a new theory. She felt sorry for him. He must have looked pretty pathetic, and she recognized his misguided good intentions enough to feel pity. The rest of the school day passed in more of a blur than usual. He might be delusional, but part of John still hoped it wasn't a prank. He headed to his locker, not daring to imagine anything, and there was another paper waiting there for him. They shouldn't say those things about you. Oh, shit. It didn't even look like the same person's handwriting. The first had been beautiful calligraphy. This one was a hurried scrawl. If it was a prank, he no longer had any idea where they were going with this. He'd already been beating himself up over saying the wrong thing, so this was too much for John. He headed straight home to get some sleep before he cracked completely. Minor complaint in this, and it could just be my headphones. The volume in this is a little bit on the inconsistent side for music tracks. Like the title screen's fucking loud. And some of the dramatic tracks like this are a bit on the loud side. So I apologize. I try to keep an eye on audio levels as I'm recording, so hopefully it's not an issue. But just in case it is, I apologize. I'm trying to balance things in a certain way. So Anyway, the next day, John went as early as possible and approached his locker anxiously. He wasn't sure what he wanted to find. There was no note this time, but there was a chocolate heart wrapped in foil, set in the exact center at the bottom of his locker. John stared at it for a while, then slipped it into his pocket and headed to class, even though he knew he would be far too early. There was no way he could eat it. If it really was a prank, they might have slipped a laxative or something inside of it. That was the kind of things his friends thought were funny. But if it was that girl, it didn't matter now. What mattered was someone clearly knew his locker combination and could get in whenever they wanted. That could be a real problem. He knew he should come up with a solution before tomorrow. But what? Well. I think I'll leave you here for now. What are we going to do about the mysterious things that have shown up in our locker? Will we tell a teacher? Will we tell Miss Smith? We try to keep a watch on the locker? Replace the locker? Maybe we'll leave them a note and see if they respond back. But that's for next time, and I hope to see you all there.